Minister Ruben Ramírez Lezcano serves as the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Paraguay. With a distinguished career in diplomacy, he has been a key figure in promoting Paraguay's global engagement, international cooperation, and sustainable development efforts. Today, we are honored to welcome Minister Lezcano to discuss foreign policy, diplomatic priorities, and Paraguay's role in the global community. Minister, wonderful to have you at the Swift Hour. Thank you.
Thank you very much, because it's a really pleasure to be here in your organization. That is most important organization that I have seen here in New York. That is the second time with the President Peña that we are here to Concordia.
Thank you. Thank you, Minister. Now, I want to talk to you about your career. I want to talk about what diplomacy means to you and the state of the world. But first, let's talk about the Organization of American States. You are a candidate to be Secretary General of what is called the OAS, headquartered in Washington, but an alliance of Western Hemisphere countries. Talk a little bit about why you want to be Secretary General of the Organization of American States.
First of all, our hemisphere have a lot of challenge. You know, about democracy, about security, about human rights and development. Those four pillars means about democracy. You know what is happening today in Venezuela, Nicaragua, and also another country that is fighting to strengthen its institutions and democracy. And the democracy impact in the way of life of our people in the hemisphere. In security, there are a lot of challenges. You have the crime organizations, the human trafficking, drug trafficking, corruption, and cybersecurity issues that IA is another issue on security that we have to follow. Human rights promoting and protection is quite important. When you don't have democracy, we started to deal with human rights issues. And in human rights, we have to keep also the issue of migration. And finally, development. It's amazing. We have the region, the most important hemisphere in the world, because the food security is an issue, but is the hemisphere who provide food for the world. For example, my country, Paraguay, 6.5 million inhabitants, we produce food for 100 million people. And we need to fight against hunger, poverty. We need to develop our region, but giving add value.
Let's talk for a minute, though, on the multilateral community. Is the multilateral community, you would like to be head of one of those key institutions in the multilateral community. Are they designed for this era to address these issues?
Yes, I think, first of all, we have different situations in North America, in Caribbean countries especially, in Central America and South America. Those countries need to be considered in a special program for each region in the hemisphere and for each country. And that is the way that I propose my candidacy, to work very close with them. We have a world polarized by ideologies, by point of view, and in the same way, in our hemisphere, we don't have any confrontation among sovereignty in the countries. Our challenge is, for example, security. What's happening in Ecuador? What's happening in Central America? IT is an issue in the Caribbean countries. The issue of environment is another key issue for the Caribbean countries. Education is a whole another challenge, and I hope working very close with the government to understand the reality of them. And I'm doing that today, to discussing with them, to propose a program for each country and for the whole hemisphere.
Let's talk a bit about Paraguay, your home country. You have a remarkable career as a diplomat. Your life's been dedicated to foreign affairs and foreign service.
It's the second time that I am Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Yes. Paraguay seems to have pivoted in a way to present itself as the place to do business in Latin America. What are some of the key elements as you travel the world that you focus on to make Paraguay as relevant as it seems to be to business?
Well, first of all, after 35 years of democracy, Paraguay make a very important challenge because we maintain the fundamentals of macroeconomics. We have very previsible economy, investment grade, that means very confident for foreign investors, and the most important investor in Paraguay are the Paraguayans. Secondly, political stability. The political stability is quite important issue. Since the President Santiago Peña was appointed last August 23, we have done at least 20 laws to structural changes for the development of the country and the social security issues. Third, the rule of law. We are working hard on that. And fundamentally, our principles. Paraguay is based on the principle of freedom, of democracy, human rights, and free trade. And really, we are a part of the region in which, even if Paraguay have only 6.5 million, the Mercosur have almost 300 million of people, and that means a very interesting market. We are working hard on education because we need to develop our country through the education. And the social policy on health and healthcare, and also the development of the public infrastructure to offer the foreign investors and the national investors, because there are no discrimination on the treatment of the national or foreign investor. We have the same treatment. And that means that Paraguay is giving today all the opportunities to the foreign or national investor, the same opportunity to develop this business in Paraguay. And that is a very important issue. Third, the lowest taxes. Paraguay have the triple 10 taxes. 10% TVA, 10% personal income, and 10% for the companies. And there are two more special treatment, like the law of Maquila, that is only 1% of taxes if you export your production. And the law to promote national or foreign investment, that means you are avoid to introduce your raw material, your capitals in Paraguay without any taxes. Your machinery to produce, to develop your industry or services, we will have 5 years exempt of any kind of taxes. Fourth, we are based in the center of South America. The relation of all the trade between Argentina, Brazil, Chile have to transit in logistics through Paraguay. We are building now the bioceanic corridor to link Atlantic and Pacific from Sao Paulo to Chile. Also, we have today the opportunity to develop the most important industry on technology. Why? Paraguay is the highest producer of renewable energy, hydroelectrical energy. Is the only country that can offer today 2 gigamonths of energy, and we have the most important river and the most important reserve of water. That means there are all the conditions for develop, for example, all the energy alternative in Paraguay. Through the hydroelectrical, we have the dam with Brazil, Itaipu, Yacyretá with Argentina, and we export the 80% of our energy. That means the Paraguay is very interesting destination for investment on technology, for example, for data centers, for develop technology, IA, etc.
Let's shift a little bit of a focus. Talk about the role of the United States in the region. There seems to be this sense or trend that the U.S. is absent. Is the U.S. absent?
Well, Paraguay have a very clear geopolitical situation. We have relation, is the only country in South America that have relation with Taiwan. We don't have diplomatic relation with China. We are supporting Israel. Last week, the government of Israel opened the embassy in Paraguay, and we will open next December our embassy in Jerusalem. Paraguay was the country that voted in 1947 for the creation of the state of Israel. That is historical commitment with Israel. And we are supporting Ukraine in the war of the biggest country against a little country like Ukraine. That means we are under pressure in our region, and we are observing that United States have to make more effort in our region. China is very active, investing in logistics, investing in all the transport situation, investing in food production, investing on the energy in the region. And well, United States may be more active in the region. This morning, we have a round table here in Concordia, and we discussed with Senator Cassidy and Senator Dodd, the president of the IDB, the vice president of the World Bank, and we discussed about the American Act and also the initiative of the APP, American Partnership for Economic Prosperity. That could be an opportunity to be closer from those allies countries in the region. But, you know, we need more clear policies, foreign policies for Latin America. What is happening in Venezuela? What is happening in Nicaragua? Even in Honduras. And we need to be more close from the region of, for example, the Caribbean. The impact of the climate change in this area is quite important. And that is the reason why I promoted, well, United States need to be more close for the region because China is growing. They have the biggest port in the Pacific. They're investing in the Atlantic ports in Argentina, in Peru, in Chile. They're investing in Brazil. They're investing in Mexico. Well, and I said need to be more active. And I am proposing, since the OAS, to develop a policy to integrate all the nation through the dialogue, through the principles that we are promoting as the Paraguayan. And the United States have to be very active in this area. I think so.
I'd like to shift to, I'd like to talk about Venezuela. There was an election. The results seem to indicate significant fraud in this election. I'm hosting, as part of this series, an interview with Maria Corina Machado. What's going to be the outcome of this? Is it status quo, or do you think this is an opportunity for a change?
I think that there is an opportunity for the change. I think that the region and also the hemisphere needs to work harder. I think last month when we started with a statement, we don't be in the same way that in the past. we recognize Guaido. The hemisphere created a group of countries promoting democracy in Venezuela, the group of Rio, and they was polarized with the other. Well, recognizing Juan Guaido, a very good friend of mine, and only making a statement, Maduro continued as a dictator. We agreed to have election in Venezuela. They had Maria Corina Machado and his proposal, Ernesto González Urrutia, Eduardo González Urrutia, they have participated, and we don't have any kind of security of the results that is promoting again Maduro as winner, when we know with the proof that the result was for Edmundo González. I mean, we need to work with this country because Venezuela is a key player to the region. They have a lot of petroleum. The impact of the regime is huge. Migrants, at least 8 million of Venezuelans are leaving his own country, and the impact for the region is devastating. And we need to work for the democracy in Venezuela, really.
Break down the timing and process by which it will be determined who is the next Secretary General of the Organization of American States.
The most important today is promote the project that we have to develop the hemisphere through the oldest organization on political integration in our region. It was created in 1948. Paraguay participated since the 18th century, when we established 180 years ago our diplomatic relation with the United States and working for the freedom, for the democracy, etc. OES is the most important tool to create the integration of the region. And the most important to do now is to propose each country to understand their needs and to create the condition for the discussion. For example, that is happening in Venezuela, that is happening in Nicaragua. They left the OES, and we need to follow, like in Guatemala is doing well with strengthening democracy, like we are now in the result in Paraguay. OES collaborated years ago a lot on the democracy process in my country. And today we have the most transparent system of election. And Paraguay is really in conditions to cooperate with several countries in the process of electoral observation, strengthening the system of electoral system. And I think the most important is up to the election, discuss with those countries. And the election in the United States is quite important because it's a big player in the hemisphere. It's one vote, but his relation with all our country is quite important for the leadership of the hemisphere.
Amazing. Well, Minister, it's wonderful to have you here.
Thank you.
Good luck in the race, the election, and looking forward to your future interventions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matt.